Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Talk, here to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. So, I actually bought the movie on Blu-ray. I didn't see the movie in theaters, but after reading the good reviews for it, I figured I would like this movie anyway, and at the time, I figured it would be cheaper to buy it on Blu-ray compared to renting it for a day. So, I bought on Blu-ray, and I loved Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. As a kid, I used to watch the real Ghostbusters and the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoons, and I did not think that the Paul Feig Ghostbusters Answer the Call movie was horrible. I didn't think it was good. It did make me chuckle a few times, especially with Chris Hemsworth. He actually made me laugh, but I did not think it was horrible. So going into this movie, after watching it, I really wanted the Paul Feig movie to be like this movie because I love it as well. I do not think that it's as good as Ghostbusters 1 or 2, but on its own, I really love it. And I do know that some people say it's not good because it's pandering, that it has so many references to Ghostbusters 1, but the references worked for me. You could say I'm a victim for nostalgia. I love Ready Player One, and I love movies like Doctor Sleep. So yeah, the nostalgia worked for me, and I loved it. I loved every second of this, and by the end, it made me cry. And any movie that makes me cry is a good movie in my eyes. I really like the cast, and I do like all the characters. I thought that McKenna Grace was fantastic as Phoebe. You could say that she's basically a young female version of Egon, but I feel like Phoebe is a very fleshed out character. If anything, I would say that her personality is kind of similar to Janine, which I thought that it's going to be revealed that Janine is actually her grandmother, but no, it never went into that. But yeah, I really like Phoebe. I like her personality, and I like that she is the main reason why the Ghostbusters all come together. And I do like the fact that this story focuses more on the conflicted relationship between Egon and his daughter Kaylee and her daughter Phoebe. Because it turns out in this movie, Egon actually abandoned Kaylee when she was little. So, Egon left her for about, I think, 25 years. So, Kaylee's all grown up. She's a single mother. She's divorced, and she doesn't have a good job, and she has almost no money, so she has to be evicted from her house. And by the time she gets to the farmhouse, she realized that Egon is also not in he's not lucrative. He doesn't have any money, and he basically has a shithole of a farmhouse. So she's basically left with nothing. And she resents him for so long because he abandoned her, and she felt that he left her for no reason. Also, the original Ghostbusters, they also hated Egon because they thought that he abandoned them, but it turns out that there's actually a very big reason why he abandoned everyone. So, Phoebe is actually very similar to Egon. She loves science. She loves doing scientific experiments. And but she and her brother Trevor have no idea who her grandfather is. She never heard of the Ghostbusters. She doesn't know who Egon Spengler is. So when she finds out the truth about her grandfather, she felt betrayed. She felt like her mother didn't tell her the truth. So when she confronted her mother about it, her mother actually says that she hates that she is a lot like her father. And she's worried that Phoebe might be like her father, that she's going to abandon her family as well. So I like that the movie focuses so much on this relationship. I thought it's really heartwarming, and also it has a giant payoff at the end. And the rest of the cast is fun. I like Trevor, Lucky, and also I do like podcasts. Bokeem Woodbine is in this movie, but I was a bit disappointed by him because he is only in it for a few minutes, and it's kind of odd because he's actually the sheriff of this town, and he's the father of Lucky, who is the girl that Trevor is falling for, and he wants to impress her. So you would think that he would have a bigger role in this, but no, he's only in it for like a few minutes, and then he's gone. He doesn't show up again in the end, even though there's so much chaos happening in this town. And the movie, I would say, I don't think it ever felt slow, but if anything, you don't get the ghosts until like the 50-minute mark. Like, yeah, the beginning of the movie did show ghosts, but after the beginning, you don't see any you didn't really have any ghost action until like the 50-minute mark. That's when Phoebe and Podcast are experimenting with the proton packs, and also when Trevor was hot wiring the Ecto-1 car, and then he made it work, and they were able to track down the ghosts. So yeah, I would say the fun finally happens around the 50-minute mark. But even though it took some time to get there, I still love the movie. I do like that the movie takes its time, focusing on the relationship between Egon, Kaylee, and Phoebe, and also explores more about this town. It is like Stranger Things meets Ghostbusters, but I thought it was done very well. It does show off more about this town, where everything is, and also about the diner, and how people work, how people eat, and also the school. I really like that. I like that this movie does explore that. I can understand that some people think it might be boring because they just want some ghost-busting action, but at the same time, for what it is, I thought it did it very well. I like the relationship that Phoebe has with Paul Rudd, who's her summer school teacher. And he's a geologist, and he doesn't even care much about being a summer school teacher. So he's just showing the students movies. Like, I think he showed Cujo at one point, and I forgot what the other movie was. But yeah, he's basically showing horror movies. And he's so invested in the Ghostbusters. So when he saw the ghost trap, he thought it's just a replica, but it turns out it was real, and he's like, holy shit, we gotta test this out. So yeah, Paul Rudd interacting with the ghost-busting equipment was fun. But I gotta say that the movie did a twist about his character, because in the marketing, it seemed like he was gonna be like either related to one of the Ghostbusters, or he becomes a Ghostbuster, or like he becomes the leader of the Ghostbusters and this young Ghostbusters team, which consists of Phoebe, Podcast, Lucky, and also Trevor. But no, it doesn't go in that direction at all, and it surprised me, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, the original Ghostbusters are back, but they're only in it for the finale, like the last 10 minutes. And even though it is great to see them, and they are the biggest highlight, it's basically just like waiting for a firework to explode, and it's glorious, it's magnificent, it's beautiful. But at the same time, you kind of wish that they're in it a lot more. And it's funny because Sony released 2 movies last year. One is Ghostbusters Afterlife, and the other one is Spider-Man No Way Home. And that one also has guest characters, guest stars, and you think that they would be cameos, but they're actually in the third act. Like, the whole third act was about them. So you would be surprised at how much screen time they would be getting. So that's why it was weird, because for cameos like that, you expect a Spider-Man No Way Home to have cameos of the guest stars for the finale, and that's it. But no, it's actually Ghostbusters Afterlife, and Spider-Man No Way Home has more screen time for these characters. But again, I love both movies anyway. But I kind of wish that the original Ghostbusters had more screen time in this. But when you finally see them, it is awesome to see them again. The music is fantastic, of course, because it plays the same tunes from the first 2 movies, and it's done very, very well. And effects, I would say, I do like the fact that it's like in between. The effects look like it's in between. It's a combination of the effects of the first 2 movies, which didn't really age well, but at the same time, it's just fun and people can accept it because it's from the 80s. So if you know from the original movies, it's like a mixture of practical effects, and they made it like all like a ghost-like, so things are see-through and stuff like that. But some things are like stop motion, especially with the gatekeeper and the keymaster, the dogs, they're like in stop motion. And also there's some iffy green screen effects, but at the same time you accept it because it's the 80s and it's done well for its time. But here, yeah, the effects have evolved, but I like the fact that it still feels old school. And also, yes, they do have CG, but it doesn't show not a lot of it was CG, and the CG they showed was done pretty well anyway. So like the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper, the two dogs, mostly they're practical when they don't move that much, but when they have to run and jump and stuff, yeah, that's when they're CG, but they do look better than the stop motion animation in the first two movies. So you could say it has evolved. And don't get me wrong, I love stop motion and I love the effects for the first two movies, but you gotta admit, this is a great evolution for that. And Muncher was done pretty well. He's basically the Slimer of the movie, but he is still different from Slimer. Yes, he does eat a lot, but he only eats metal objects and he spits them back out like bullets. And he basically looks like a giant fat caterpillar, and he's adorable to look at. And he reminds me of Heimlich from A Bug's Life. Other than that, there's not that many ghosts in this movie. You have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Gozer, the Gatekeeper and the Keymaster, and what else? The skeleton guy in the coffee shop. There, Muncher, and there's this one weird looking ghost that has basically 3 eyes, 2 normal ones, and 1 big one that's able to come out of its head. And yeah, that's basically it for the ghosts, which is probably the most disappointing aspect of the whole movie, because you gotta admit, the first 2 movies had a lot more interesting ghost designs compared to this one. And even the Ghostbusters Answer the Call has a bunch of ghosts in it as well. But I gotta say, the bad thing about Ghostbusters Answer the Call in terms of the ghost design is that they look very cartoony. And I thought it worked for that movie, but compared to this one, the ghosts in this at least look more realistic, because the ghosts in Ghostbusters Answer the Call, they are too shiny, they are too bright. But again, it does make them look interesting to see. It looks nice, but at the same time, it does look cartoony compared to the effects in here. But other than that, I still had fun with the ghost busting action. I like that there were modifications to the Ecto-1. So it has a gunner seat, and also there's the RC ghost trap. That was a lot of fun too. So it's just very small modifications. And I do like the fact that the farm is basically one giant ghost trap. Like there's this humongous patch of dirt where nothing is in it, and then once you activate it, it's a bunch of ghost traps, and it's being powered by this transformer which looks like a giant proton pack. That was cool. And also you got the EKG meter as well. That was awesome to see. Yeah, I had a blast with this. I do have to go into spoilers a bit. So the thing is that the movie already came out on Blu-ray, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of you already seen this or heard about it anyway, but I'm warning about the spoilers. So, Egon. Harold Ramis died years ago, way before even this movie was produced. So, Egon was in the beginning and also in the finale, and I gotta say, they did such a great job with them, because in the beginning, it's basically just a silhouette of him. I think they had 2 actors portray him. One is Ivan Reitman, and the other one, I think his name is Bob Gunton. So they portrayed Egon, and you see a silhouette, and he doesn't talk at all the entire time. So Egon dies in the beginning of this movie, and when they show him again, oh my god, I love this finale. So Gozer is back, and she is about to kill Callie and Phoebe, and Peter, Ray, and Winston, they show up, and I love that. I love the part where Gozer's talking to Ray, and she says, "Are you a god?" And Ray hesitated. Ray was trying to think of an answer, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And Peter and Winston are like, oh, come on, Ray. but Ray actually realized his mistake, and he's like, "Yes, yes, we are gods." I loved it. I loved it. And Bill Murray is still great as Peter. And it's a shame that they never made a Ghostbusters 3 many, many years ago, because I'm pretty sure they they still got it. They all still got it. But out of everyone, Bill Murray was the one who really doesn't want to go back making another Ghostbusters movie, even though it's weird that he shows up for Ghostbusters Answer the Call. But I guess it's fine for him because he's not playing Peter Venkman. He's basically playing... shoot, I forgot the character's name. But yeah, I'm surprised that he came back for this anyway. But they all did a great job. So the Ghostbusters got their ass kicked, and it turns out that Phoebe is the only one who's gonna fight off against Gozer, and Gozer was doing her lightning thing. And just when it turns out Phoebe was about to lose, Egon's spirit shows up. His ghost shows up. Ghost Egon. And it's such a Dragon Ball Z moment, man. Oh my god. That's why I'm wondering if Jason Reitman, he's a fan of Dragon Ball Z, or he saw that episode, or he heard about it, or something like that, because it can't be just a coincidence. If you know Dragon Ball Z, if you know the Cell Saga, that's that scene where Cell was trying to beat Teen Gohan, and Teen Gohan was only had one hand, and he's trying to make the Kamehameha, and Cell was about to defeat him, but then the spirit of Goku shows up and is helping Gohan defeat Cell. It's basically that. So we have the spirit of Egon helping Phoebe take down Gozer, and then the other Ghostbusters, they team up with Phoebe and Egon, and they cross the streams, and they have Gozer, and man, it's so good, man. Seeing the four of them again, even though, yes, Harold Ramis is dead, and this is just a CGI a version of Harold Ramis portraying as Egon. At the same time, it was great to see all four of them again. They were interacting with each other. They were looking at each other. They're happy that they're all back together, and so am I. And then Kaylee turned on the ghost trap, and then Gozer is defeated. And after Peter talks with Kaylee and Phoebe, and Winston checks up the Ecto-1, and Ray was looking over, checking up a podcast because he was killing the Stay Puft Marshmallow men, and Trevor was checking over Paul Rudd and also Lucky, and Paul Rudd was talking to Kaylee. After that, when Egon was straightening up Trevor's hair, and he's hugging Phoebe, and then he hugs Kaylee, and the music in the background is playing, and Kaylee finally forgives her father, and she learns the truth. She realized that she and the Ghostbusters realized that Egon was there for a reason, that he knows Gozer is going to come back someday, and he's trying to prevent that from happening. So he sets up the ghost traps at the farm. He also set up the ghost traps at the ruins at the volcano, in the cavern where Gozer lives, and also Ivo Shandor was sleeping in. So, yeah. And then Egon disappears into the sky, and then you see "For Harold" written. And it is so beautiful. That made me cry. This, I gotta say, in all my life, this is honestly one of the best endings for a movie I have ever seen. I'm serious. Like, say what you will about the rest of the movie. And I know some people would say this movie is pandering because it references so much of the first movie. I do understand. I do get that. But, man, the final, 10 minutes of this movie, with the battle against Gozer and Egon coming back, the spirit of Harold Ramis is back, and then he disappears, and you see "For Harold," and it's all a tribute to Harold Ramis. It is so good. That made me cry. Wow. And then we get two after credit scenes, one mid credits with Dana. Sigourney Weaver is back as Dana, and it's so adorable that she's doing the electric shock test from the first movie. It turns out that Peter still has that machine. So they're having fun together, and it turns out they're actually married, which is great because I hated that from Ghostbusters 2. Like, they were never married. They actually got separated, and she has a kid with another person who doesn't give a shit about her. Seriously, I hated that part of Ghostbusters 2. Really? That's the, that's how it's supposed to be? It's just like in Jurassic Park 3 when Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler were not together. They separated. They never got married together, and Ellie got married to some other dude. I hated that. But here, Dana and Peter are married together, and we don't see Oscar. That was a disappointment. I was hoping for... it doesn't have to be the same actor who was the baby, but I'm just saying, like, we couldn't get Oscar back, you know? It would be nice to see... You know who I want to be Oscar? I think Bill Hader would be awesome. Man, a movie with Paul Rudd and Bill Hader for the sequel, that would be cool. So yeah, we don't see Oscar, unfortunately. And then we get the ending credits, which is really, really touching, but at the same time, a little bit confusing. It is a setup for the sequel. If there is a sequel. So Winston... talks to Janine, and he brings the Ecto-1 back to New York City, and he goes to the fire station, and this is the part I'm very confused about. Because when Phoebe was talking to Ray, and they said that they had to disband, and they had to get rid of everything, and Egon stole everything, he took everything with him. So when they talked about the fire station, which is the Ghostbusters headquarters, he said that it's turned into a Starbucks. So... that's the part I'm confused about, because when Winston comes back to the fire station, I don't know if this is a different fire station or the exact same one. I assume it's supposed to be the same one, because if it is, then did Ray lie about it becoming a Starbucks? Or was he mistaken? Or was the Starbucks also abandoned? That's why I was very, very confused. Because it has to be the same fire station, because they showed that machine that where Egon and Ray have to put the ghost traps in so it keeps the ghosts in there. So it still has that machine, so I assume it's the same exact fire station, but if it did turn into a Starbucks, then why does everything still look the same? Because if it was a Starbucks, everything, I'm pretty sure everything would have been dismantled and, you know, turned into a Starbucks. Unless, again, I'm very confused about what Ray said. That's why I'm wondering if that's supposed to be just a joke, or Ray didn't know about certain things. I don't know. That's why it was very, very confusing. But yeah, the machine lights up and then it ends there. And it makes me question what the sequel is going to be like if there is a sequel. Because right before the ending credits, it just shows Ghostbusters, and they do the logo with the animation and stuff, but it's just Ghostbusters. It's not Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's just Ghostbusters. So that's what, and then they play the Ghostbusters theme. But that's the thing I'm wondering about the sequel. Like, is it going to be back to New York City? Because they showed the, you know, the machine with the flashing light over there, the one that takes care of the ghost traps. Is it still going to focus on the original team only, like Peter, Ray, and Winston? Or is the young cast supposed to come back for the sequel? Are we going to see Phoebe, Podcast, Trevor, and Lucky back? And they're going to travel to New York City? So that's why I'm wondering what the sequel is supposed to be like. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that it's kind of like a live-action version of the Extreme Ghostbusters. Like, the kids are all grown up. Phoebe's in high school now. Trevor's in either college or he is no longer in college. Not sure. Because he is a high school student at this point, so... it'll be nice to see the kids grow up and see what else they can do and also help out with the original Ghostbusters. And even though this movie seems like it's passing the torch, but at the same time, it seems like, oh, we gave you had the torch, but we took it back. That's what it seemed like to me. again, I don't know if they actually do make a sequel, which direction are they going with? So I'm very curious about that. Um, so yeah, it's nice to see Janine again. It's nice to see Dana again. Nice to see Peter, Ray, Winston, and also Egon, the spirit of him. And I thought that was well done. The cast is very good. Paul Rudd was a lot of fun. Yeah, Paul Rudd becoming the dog. I don't know if he's the keymaster or the gatekeeper. I totally forgot, but he's one of them. He turns into the dog, and I was very surprised about that because I honestly thought that he was going to be like the leader of the Ghostbusters or he's related to a Ghostbuster, but no, he becomes the dog. And also Callie also becomes the dog. And when Callie is no longer the dog and then Lucky becomes one, that shocked me too, but that disappointed me a bit, you know? I mean, I am glad that Kaylee gets a touching moment by helping out with the ghost trap and stuff, and also she sees Egon coming back too, so I understand they had to do it this way, but at the same time, I'm a little sad that Lucky had to turn into a dog. Like, I don't know, I kind of felt like, I guess it had to be a male and a female thing, unless it didn't have to be. I don't know, because doesn't matter about gender anyway for the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. I know that they're supposed to be, you know, sleep together basically, but, you know, is there a rule against, you know, same sex? And yeah, I know you could say it's weird because one of them is Paul Rudd, and who else could it be? The two boys? That's pedophilia. So I understand. So I guess in that aspect, yeah, Lucky has to be the one who turns into a dog. But at the same time, it's disappointing because she doesn't have much to do with the finale. Like, she didn't help out when Phoebe, Trevor, and Podcast were at the ruins. She was basically stuck inside the farmhouse the entire time, waiting for them to be over there. And then when that fails, she's the one who gets turned into the dog. That's why I find that a little disappointing. To me, that feels like a bit of fridging, you know, if that makes sense. But hopefully, if the actress comes back, the character comes back, hopefully she gets a lot more stuff to do for the sequel. That's what I'm hoping for. And Bokeem Woodbine, yeah, I honestly hope that he had much to do because I like the actor. So, yeah, that part was a little disappointing. But again, everything else I liked. I loved everything about this. I loved everything else about this movie. And I also loved the part where Phoebe was interacting with Egon the first time, where she's playing, they're playing chess together. That was adorable. And I like that she was fixing the proton pack in his basement. Well, not basement, his shed, and it has the fireman's pole, so she had to slide down it, and he's interacting with her by using the lamp and stuff like that. And here's the thing I'm a little confused about. Why can't they see Egon at this point? They never explained this. I felt like he could have shown himself to Phoebe, at least, at any time, but he has to be invisible? Again, I'm wondering if I didn't see the deleted scenes yet, so maybe it is explained, or it was explained in the first two movies, but yeah, because he is a ghost, but he is invisible. Like, he can't be seen. Is it because he doesn't want to be seen, or there's some presence that he can't be seen? Because the Podcast and Phoebe and Trevor and some townspeople actually see Muncher. It's not like select people see him. They do see Muncher, and later on, the townspeople do see the other ghosts, so that's why I'm wondering, what the heck was Egon doing the whole time? That's why I'm a little confused. Maybe it's because he got killed by the dogs, so he had to wait until they're weakened or something? Again, I don't know why Egon never showed himself, but again, I'm fine with it. So yeah, I really love this movie, and I gotta say this. Some of you know that I have an autistic younger brother. He is nonverbal, and he loves like Disney movies and also musicals. So he loves Disney Pixar movies and also musicals like The Sound of Music and also Mary Poppins, which I guess is still considered Disney anyway. And I think Sound of Music was owned by 20th Century Fox at the time. I could be wrong, but I think it was. So technically it should be Disney at this point. So yeah, he does love those movies. And there are certain other movies that I'm shocked that he loves as well, like The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. Great movie anyway. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't seem like a kind of movie that my brother would love. But when we were kids, we both love the Ghostbuster movies. Like, he loves it more than I do, actually. So because he loves to repeat them over and over again on VHS. Like, he watches it, he rewinds it, watches it, rewinds it. He does that a lot. So when he finally saw the Paul Feig Ghostbusters movie, he honestly didn't care about it. Like, if he doesn't care, he just doesn't look at the screen. He does whatever he wants, like draw or play on his iPad or something like that. So he didn't care about that. But when he watched this movie, I was honestly surprised because he paid attention and he was smiling from beginning to end. And again, I was very surprised because the original Ghostbusters don't show up until the last 10 minutes. So if anything, I thought he would only pay attention to that. But he paid attention from the very beginning. Like, he was all invested, all into it, and he was smiling and he was enjoying the movie. So that's why I gotta say that Ghostbusters Afterlife is very special to me because it's something that both me and my brother enjoy from our childhoods, and it was special. It's a very special movie. I love it. Again, like I said, I don't think it's as good as Ghostbusters 1 or Ghostbusters 2, but I still think this was a very good movie, and it made me cry at the end, and I enjoyed it. And yep, that's my movie talk on Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I want to do something special because I did buy this on Blu-ray. It came with a digital code, so this is a first come, first serve. I only have one digital code. So if you are interested, if you want to get the digital version of Ghostbusters Afterlife, here's your chance. Here you go. Here's the code with the instructions. I'll leave it on the screen for a few seconds. And like I said, first come, first serve. Whoever gets the movie. And hopefully, whoever redeemed the code, please write down in the comments it was you. That way, people don't have to, try out the code and realize, oh, it doesn't work anymore. So again, I hope whoever gets it first is honorable and writes it down in the comments. So again, I'm curious to see how many of you actually watched the video the whole time and actually saw the code and redeemed it. So I'm curious about that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Later.